see this therapist that after the assessment and finding out all that was needed, handed me this big plastic bat and said, go ahead, let it out. Hit that couch. Slam it and yell, Go for it. I looked at her as if she was the one that was crazy.
Welcome to Aloha Speaks, home of Malama Aloha Pono by Alexander Noman.
Aloha. Alex here with Aloha Speaks once again. And this is take 2, necessarily due to technical issues. And I'm glad, because I didn't find out until I did the next video, number 58, which is entitled Admit What? And in it, now this one's entitled Emotions versus Feelings. And this is my learning and my growth, what I have come to find out for me. So I am making assumptions in what I've learned. There are assumptions that have been made that I'll get to. But I'm not making assumptions that is true for anyone else, or anyone else comes to the same conclusion. That they're different. They're not the same. The interesting thing is, though, that in the next video, I was doing the editing, and I said, I used the term feelings as emotion. I was talking about emotions and used the word feelings because I'm so programmed now. Interestingly enough, I did correct it right afterwards, not even saying I was correcting it. I just did change it to the word emotions. But that just shows how programmed, how the behavior patterns are set, and it's based on the assumptions. So before I get to that, the parentheses, changeable and variable versus unchangeable and unvariable. Then there's a slash, verb versus noun. So, wanting to keep it simple and having a challenge with that, because this head, and that's the first thing, is the head, right? The head does not, this mind, it even makes an assumption like it feels. It's my body that feels, that has feeling, that has sensation to it. And yet, I put so much of my attention to this other place that where there's thought. So with this assumption, that's the base assumption that emotions are feelings, there's a little bit of confusion here for me because of this difference between a noun and a verb. Because I do feel emotions. All these opportunities for slippery slopes. In having an emotion, I have a tendency often to deny or, forget about it. I don't want to feel that emotion, especially when it's a negative emotion. Bury it. Okay, here's something from history. It wasn't a child. I was like 19 years old, still living with my family, at home, because I worked with the family. It was efficient. I'm not going to get into what happened, but I acted out. It was pretty severe. The determining factor was, how about going to therapy? I didn't want to go to therapy, but to assuage, I conceded, went to see this therapist, that after the assessment and finding out all that was needed, handed me this big plastic bat and said, go ahead, let it out. Hit that couch. Slam it and yell, go for it. I looked at her as if she was the one that was crazy. You got to be kidding me. I was so disconnected from any of that reality. I was not. That my reality had nothing to do with that. Complete denial. Disconnected. And I was out of there. Never to return. 19. Now, fast forward to when, after I'm in recovery at 28, by the time I'm 30, I'm actually paying $200 an hour for a therapist who suggests go to group therapy where it's $90 an hour and there's 9 people around. And now I'm on my knees with a rubber heater hose in my hand and a big leather punching bag, huge one, on the floor, and I am screaming and wailing and going for it. I mean, it would go on throughout my life. I would do these exercises into my 50s and still can, whatever it takes. I need to feel and express my emotions. The difference being what is appropriate. I even saw these, I was on YouTube and scanning through and saw these, I guess it was a women's retreat or something, because it was only women in the forest, and they had something in their hands, and on the ground they were beating it and screaming and letting it out. And I'm like, yeah, because that's what's appropriate. There's nothing appropriate about expressing it to the person I'm angry at, that I think that I'm angry at, because it's really about something else. I'm not aware of it at the time, but that's what's appropriate. I have to express it. I want to feel my emotions, but that doesn't make the emotion a feeling. Different things. And the thing that keeps me from being in touch with my emotion is that and also that keeps me in the blame game, is that I can, instead of identifying it as, like, I use the word varying degrees. There are varying degrees of sadness. I can be a little bit sad. I can be a little more sad. I can be really depressed. So there are varying degrees. Same with anger. And I can use different words for it, like I'm upset, I'm disturbed, irritated, aggravated, frustrated, annoyed. And a lot of these words can be used in a way that can keep it in the realm of the blame, where it can look like it's about somebody else and it's their fault. Where I've taken it to is even self-pity is it is anger. It's an expression of anger. It's a form of anger in that I'm throwing a tantrum, that I'm not getting my way. That's self-pity is also. So there's all these varying degrees. And it just is all muddled in a way that keeps the blame game going. Keeps it unclear in that I am 100% the one behind the emotion. Let's not go there. So that's something that can be looked at. When it comes to a feeling, so that's all variable. That's why I was saying that's changeable. That comes and goes with thought. It's connected to thoughts because I don't trust the thought connected to emotions. That's all changeable and variable. Whereas the feeling is something that's already in me and unchanging. What is that? Peace is always here. Joy always in me. That love always in me. That feeling and gratitude. And actually they're all one and the same. They're not separate. They're together. And they're unchangeable. They don't vary. And the only thing that happens is I disconnect from that is always there. And what is it that interferes? Is thought. Some thought comes along and pulls me away. So, by having that ability to differentiate between the two, I can have a clarity that there's something I can do to take ownership about my emotions that is addressed in what is talked about, that then frees me up to turn my attention to that's already in me and always in me. Until next time, aloha. And to close, clicking on the thumbs up icon supports Aloha Speaks, as well as clicking on the free subscribe tab. Mahalo.